passage from Francis Fukuyama's recent book, a little book on liberalism. And here he quotes John Gray. John Gray, the British political theorist, and he's an expert on liberalism, so it's worth listening to him on liberalism. So he starts with this passage from John Gray. And he said there are several broad characteristics that define liberalism. So we are concerned about, or we want to define liberalism. Okay. Liberalism. And obviously liberalism has many varieties that distinguish it from other doctrines and political systems within modernism, I guess. So John Gray says that common to all variants of liberal tradition is a definite conception, distinctively modern in character, of man and society. So liberalism has a definite conception of what the man is and what the society is, and that always include what the man should be and what the society should be. It's common to all variants of liberal tradition. Different liberal schools, different liberal thinkers, is a definite conception, distinctively more modern. Well, liberalism is a modern movement. I mean, it has some pedigree in ancient and medieval world, but as it stands, it's a modern construction. Okay. So what are those what are those common things? So first one he mentioned is individualism. So liberalism is individualist. Liberalism focuses on the individual or prioritize individual. Priority of individual. So whenever we talk about priority, the question is priority over what or whom. So it is individualist in that it asserts the moral primacy of the person against the person. It's introducing new words, person, against the claims of any social collectivity. Okay, this is a very heavy passage or heavy 2 lines. We should spend some time on it. So liberalism is individualist in that it asserts the moral primacy of the person against the claims of any social collectivity. So liberalism prioritizes the primacy of, or give primacy to, individuals over collectivities. Okay, let's see. Liberalism, according to John Gray here, obviously, what distinguishes liberalism from other Enlightenment doctrines or other modern doctrines is that liberalism give primacy to individuals over social collectivities. So, for example, it gives priority to individual over state, for example. We're just trying to understand it. So it gives individual rights against the states, in the sense that the rights which protect the individual from the state. Okay, against the groups, against family to start with, then larger social groups, and then society. So it gives the individual rights, negative rights, in the sense that which it protects the individual as much as possible from intervention from the social collectivities, or the coercion of the social activities, so the individual can live her life autonomously, that is, without intervention from others and according to her own will or desire. So that's what he wants to say here. At least this is among other things he wants to say. So common to all variants of the liberal tradition is a definite conception, distinctively modern in character, of man and society. So, common to all variants of liberal tradition is the definite conception, definitely distinctively more modern in character of man and society. It is individualist in that it asserts the moral primacy or primacy. I don't really understand what moral is saying, doing there, but moral primacy, I guess what he means is normative. Moral premises. Okay, moral primacy mean, your family obviously factually comes first. You weren't even there. So in that sense, it can't be talking about factual primacy, but moral primacy in that sense that if you have certain claims and your family has certain claims, morally your claims generally trump your family's claim, for example, over you. Of the person against the claims of any social collectivity. Okay. Um, Slogan or cliche or even truth is that individual, in liberalism, individual has primacy over family, groups, social groups, institutions, even a state, and so individual, they are to serve individual, not the other way around, I guess. But what about capital, for example? What about corporations? So that's not clear. But let's take it on the face value, and even on the face value, one should, when we talk about individual in liberalism against collectivity, we should raise this question at the start: which collectivities? So when we are talking about state, which state? Um, which society? Which institutions? Because we should distinguish between liberal sanctioned collectivities versus pre-liberal or even anti-liberal collectivities. So there are totally two different relationship between in liberal thought, between the liberal individual and liberal state. And liberal individual and liberal non-liberal state. For example, nationalist state or Islamic state. So as far as the anti-liberal state is concerned, liberalism individual is there to destroy this state, fight this state, transcend this state. And try to put a different type of state in its place. So if you are living within the anti-liberal state, then the agents of liberalism will mobilize individuals against the state, against the society. If you are living under anti-liberal society, destroying the family, destroying the anti-liberal institution. So here the individual is called to destroy these collectivities because they constrain his or her will without her consent. On the other hand, liberal individuals relationship with liberal state or liberal sanctioned state or collectivities society, which is called civil society, it's totally different. It's not that of enmity. It doesn't want to destroy, it cannot even destroy this state or these collectivities. So it's really not correct to say in blanket term that liberalism is based on moral primacy of the individual or of the person over collectivities. Liberalism is so the moral primacy of the person over the collectivity is the moral primacy of the liberal individuality over non-liberal collectivities. And that's why this person tries to destroy those collectivities, because this person, as the agent of liberal order, world order, or social movement or political movements, believes that those collectivities are there to usurp his freedom or constrain her will, or whatever. On the other hand, it's the relationship between liberal state and liberal collectivities is different, because it doesn't have a basic enmity against, but see these as the protection of her liberties. So it's able to live under the umbrella of liberal collectivities and to fight the liberal enemies, etc. That's the first point. So when they say there are several broad characteristics that define liberalism that distinguish it from the other doctrines and political system, in the words of John Gray, common to all variants of the liberal tradition is a definite conception distinctively modern in character of man and society. It is individualist in that it asserts the moral primacy of the person against the claims of any social collectivity. So we mentioned the provisos which will go with this claim, but there's many other. We still need to understand what individualism means, and in the more positive context. So we'll look at it in the next session.